Have you ever told a woman she's beautiful and felt nothing change? She smiled. She said thank you. The moment passed, and somehow the air felt the same. No spark, no shift, no deeper connection. Let me ask you something harder. What if the reason your compliments don't work isn't because you're bad at talking? What if it's because you've been taught the wrong idea about what a compliment is? Most men believe compliments create attraction. They think if they say something kind, something confident, something bold, it will move her emotionally. But here's the truth. Nobody says out loud. Most compliments don't build attraction. They quietly kill it. Not in a dramatic way, not in a way you can see, but in a subtle way that creates distance. You say, "You're so pretty." She hears, "I am judging you." You say, "You're amazing." She hears, "You are being evaluated." You think you're showing interest. She feels like she's being assessed. And attraction cannot grow inside that dynamic. Here's the strange part. The man giving the compliment usually thinks it went well. He thinks he was smooth. He thinks he was confident. He thinks he did everything right. Meanwhile, she walks away feeling neutral or slightly uncomfortable, and he never understands why. In this video, I'm going to break down 8 types of compliments that actually create emotional pull. Not lines, not tricks, not manipulation. Real psychology. You'll learn why most compliments fail, what makes a woman feel truly seen, and the one type of compliment at the end that is so powerful, it actually costs you something to say. And that's why it works. If you stay until the end, you won't just learn what to say. You'll understand what actually creates attraction in the first place. And once you see it, you will never speak the same way again. If you are watching this, hoping I will give you 8 magic sentences to memorize, pause. That mindset is the first mistake. Attraction is not triggered by clever wording. It is not about finding the perfect phrase. And it is definitely not about sounding smooth. Most men believe compliments fail because they did not say them confidently enough, or because they were not attractive enough, or because the timing was off. That is not the real problem. The real problem is this. Most compliments are evaluations. When you say, "You're beautiful," you think you are giving value. But what you are actually doing is placing yourself in the role of judge. You are saying, even if you do not mean to, "I looked at you, I assessed you, and you passed." That creates a subtle power gap. Now she is being measured, and when someone feels measured, they do not relax. They become self-aware, and attraction needs relaxation. Here's the deeper issue. Most compliments are about approval. Approval feels good for a second, but approval does not create connection. There's a big difference between validation and recognition. Validation says, "You're good." Recognition says, "I noticed something specific about you." Validation is common. Recognition is rare. When someone feels recognized, they feel seen. And being seen is one of the strongest emotional needs a human has. This is where most men go wrong. They focus on performance. They think, "How do I impress her?" Instead of asking, "What am I actually noticing about her?" The shift is simple but powerful. Stop trying to impress. Start trying to understand. Because attraction does not grow from being evaluated. It grows from feeling safe. And safety begins the moment someone feels truly seen. Now let's build the real foundation. Before we talk about the 8 compliments, you need to understand 3 psychological triggers. Without these, the words will not matter. First, recognition versus validation. Validation activates approval. It hits the reward system in the brain. It feels nice, but it fades fast. Recognition is different. Recognition says, "I see something specific in you." When someone feels recognized, their brain lights up in a deeper way. It creates meaning, not just pleasure. Meaning lasts longer than praise. Second, emotional safety. Most men think attraction grows from excitement, from spark, from chemistry. And yes, excitement matters, but excitement without safety feels unstable. When a woman feels emotionally safe, her nervous system relaxes. When she relaxes, she becomes open. When she is open, attraction can deepen. If your compliment creates pressure, expectation, or hidden need, it reduces safety. If your compliment communicates calm interest with no demand attached, it increases safety. Pressure closes people. Safety opens them. Third, celebration versus approval. Approval says, "You meet my standard." Celebration says, "I'm genuinely glad this quality exists in you." That is a huge difference. Approval puts you above her. Celebration stands beside her. Most people have been approved of in life. Very few have been truly celebrated for who they are. When someone feels celebrated, it does not feel like a transaction. It feels like a gift. And gifts are remembered. So as we go into the 8 compliments, keep this in mind. We are not learning lines. We are learning how to recognize, how to create safety, and how to celebrate. Because when those 3 things are present, attraction stops feeling forced. It starts feeling natural. Now let's talk about the first layer of compliments. These are recognition-based. This is where most men start to see the shift. The first type is the specific observation. Instead of saying, "You're funny," you point to something exact. The way you paused before that punchline, that was perfect. Now notice what changed. You did not label her. You described a moment. You showed that you were fully present. Specific details prove attention, and attention feels intimate. The rule is simple. If you could say the same compliment to any woman, it is too generic. Make it so specific that it only fits her. The second type is the quality behind the quality. Most people compliment what is visible. You're driven. You're confident. You're smart. But what creates those traits? Maybe it is discipline. Maybe it is curiosity. Maybe it is deep care. When you name the trait behind the trait, you go deeper. For example, it's not just that you work hard, it's that you really care about doing things right. Now you are not praising performance. You are recognizing character. That feels powerful. The third type is growth recognition. This only works if you are paying attention over time. I remember when this used to stress you. You handled it differently today. Very few people are recognized for their growth. Most are labeled by their past. When you notice change, you honor effort. And honoring effort builds real respect. These first 3 compliments all do one thing. They make her feel seen as a person, not as an object, not as a role, not as a checklist of traits, but as someone you are truly observing. And when someone feels deeply observed without being judged, connection starts to form. This is where attraction begins to feel real. Now we reach the highest level. This is where everything comes together. The final type of compliment is the one that costs you something. Up to now, you have been noticing her. Now, you let her see that she affects you. This requires confidence, because you are not hiding behind calm control. You are being honest. For example, talking to you makes me think deeper than I usually do. Or, you ask questions that actually challenge me. I like that. Notice what is happening. You are not just praising her. You are revealing yourself. You are admitting impact. And that is powerful. People do not fall for someone who stays untouched. They fall for someone who lets them matter. Not dramatic emotion, not oversharing, just selective honesty. When you show that her presence changes something in you, even slightly, it creates emotional pull. Because now the dynamic is equal. You are not judging. You are participating. This is the difference between performing confidence and having it. Real confidence can admit influence. Now let me remove one final fear. These compliments will not manufacture attraction where none exists. They are not spells. They are not tricks. If there is no connection, nothing will force it.
We must be vigilant.
But if there is even a small spark, these deepen it. They remove pressure. They increase safety. They create meaning. And that is what attraction feeds on. So here is the real takeaway. Stop trying to impress. Start paying attention. Slow down. Listen fully. Notice small details. And when you speak, speak from observation, not approval. Because people can feel the difference between being looked at and being truly seen. Be the man who sees. That is where everything changes. Because people can feel the difference between being looked at and being truly seen. Be the man who sees. That is where everything changes.
Good evening, sir.
Now, I want to know
Good evening,
something.
madam.
How do you
Which of the 8 hit you the hardest?
Well, and you?
Was it the
Well,
specific
thank you.
observation,
Pleasant evening.
the growth recognition,
This place gives me
or the one that
What do you
cost
think?
you something?
It's eerie.
Drop it in the comments. And if you want more videos that break down the real psychology behind attraction, emotional intelligence, and presence,
We should talk.
subscribe.
About what
Because
happened.
most men are still playing the surface game and we are going deeper.